Welcome to Motherhood. Whether you're 18 or 80, Dr. Christina Hibbert, clinical psychologist, author, and mother of 6, is here to help you through the ups and downs, the joys and frustrations, the new information from experts, and the stories of happiness and heartbreak from real moms. Remember, if you can, tell your mama to listen too.
And I'll make everything all right.
Here's Christy.
Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. Christina Hibbert, and welcome to Motherhood. As you know, I'm here to help you overcome, to become, and to flourish in this summer sanity time of motherhood. That's what we're talking about today, summer and keeping our sanity. I know that it can be a challenge. I've had many years of experience with this, and through different phases of motherhood, I found myself experiencing summer in totally different ways. Today I'm on location. So if you're watching the video, you can always go to YouTube, drchristinahibbert.com, YouTube/Dr. Christina Hibbert, and find videos of episodes that we're talking about, especially today. You'll see that I'm wearing my hair in my braids. I've got my little ladybug t-shirt on, and I'm sitting here in my parents' house being the mom. I figured what better way to do a radio show about motherhood than while I'm actually on mom duty. So my kids are out in the pool right now. Behind me, you can maybe see that. And I'm going to be keeping an ear and an eye out while I'm also trying to get some work done, because that's what summer sanity is all about. Now, I don't know about you, but when my kids were little, I used to really panic. I mean, really panic. It seems like May was always so crazy. We always call it mayhem, because it is, right? It's just insanely busy. And the more kids you have, the more things you have going on, end of year activities, awards ceremonies, banquets, graduations, recitals, performances, all kinds of things, right? And then it seems like all of that would just be so busy that I wouldn't even think about it. And all of a sudden, boom, it's like, what? The last day of school is tomorrow or today or yesterday? And suddenly we're in summer and I'm panicking. Like, what am I going to do with all these kids? All of a sudden, everything shifts. And it really can be a challenge for us as moms, especially when, well, either way, whether you are a stay-at-home mom and you've finally got your routine for the school year, which is its own challenge, and now it has to all switch again for the summer, or whether you're a working mom and that's an even, a different kind of challenge where, what am I going to do with my kids and how am I going to enjoy some of this summer while I'm also doing my job outside of the home? So it can be a really challenging time. It can be a really fun time, great time too. And hopefully it can be a time of sanity, and not only sanity, but as we talk about overcoming, that's maybe the sanity part, but of actually learning some things together with our kids and making memories and becoming in that way, and of flourishing and having some great moments, some fun together. And hopefully that's our goal for this year. So I'm going to give you some really great tips today. You've got me one-on-one for this session of motherhood. First, I just want to thank you for being here with me as always, and for joining us on our Facebook group, Growing Through Motherhood. We love to have you there. And that is always the place where I post the episodes first. So if you want to know when they're up and new, go there, join on Facebook, Growing Through Motherhood. And also be sure to subscribe. Subscribe to iTunes, podcasts, Motherhood. You can just subscribe and easily get the new episodes right to your device or phone. And also you can subscribe on YouTube. We actually have a Motherhood TV playlist. So if you go to youtube.com/Dr. Christina Hibbert, again, you can look for the Motherhood TV playlist. You can subscribe to my whole channel and get all kinds of great resources in addition to the videos of all these episodes. So be sure to do that. And of course, always to visit drchristinahibbert.com for resources on what we talk about. Especially today, I have a great article for you on summer sanity. 7 tips for summer sanity. I'm going to be talking about some of those, and a brand new post on how to make your summer not only sane, but fabulous this year and to flourish during summer. So be sure to go and check those out as well. Now, as I said, we're going to share some tips. And back in, I was looking at my blog. I was revisiting some old posts, and I can't believe I wrote this back in 2012. That's when I very first started my website. And I started my website right kind of, a few months before summer, because I was trying to publish a book. And I was meeting with some publishers and some agents, and one agent in particular said, you need a platform, a website to be on social media like yesterday. And at that time I had about 30 Facebook friends and was never on social media. And I thought, what a waste of time. Who has time for that? So I had to do all this. I started all this. And so here I was going into summer, and suddenly I had a blog I was keeping up. I was trying to publish a book. Which I was needing to rewrite and redo and rework in order to get, the right publishing. And I had 6 little kids, and I was in panic mode. Like, what do I do? Oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's summer, and feeling like I'm totally overwhelmed and I don't have a plan. So I wrote this post, and we're going to kind of work with this post, but I'm going to add some things to it because I've learned over the years that as we evolve in motherhood, so does summer evolve. So some of you might be in the phase of grandmotherhood, and summer to you is awesome because it's a time where you get to visit with your grandkids or get to have a granny camp or go on a vacation together. And some of you might have older kids where it is easier, and you really look forward to that time when there isn't a bunch of scheduling so that you can go and do things together as a family. And then I know there are plenty of you out there that feel like I did when my kids were little, especially, just totally overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, they're all home. What do I do? They're bored all the time. My house is a mess. They always want to be in the kitchen. They always want to be doing something or needing rides, and I'm just trying to keep up. And, I explained it to my husband a few years back because I was trying to help him understand that he did not get it because his schedule stays the same. Which, there's pluses and minuses, so let's be fair here. I told him, the good thing about your schedule is that it's always the same. Like, you don't have to readjust every time there's a school break or every time there's something going on, because I'm primarily responsible for our children, and I take that role on as a mother in our home. And not every mother is in the same situation. I understand that, but in general, that's what we do as moms. And so every time the kids' schedules change, our schedules change, right? So I'm trying to explain this to my husband and just saying, the end of the school year, it's crazy. All of a sudden I have all these extra things added to my calendar, which yes, you come to some too, but I'm at every one of them, and it's super busy. And then all of a sudden there's just nothing, and they're just home, and I don't know what to do with them. And it can be overwhelming. All of a sudden I have no time to myself. I have no free time, no quiet time. I have no time to get my work done. When I used to, and I still do see clients, but I'm much more flexible with my schedule now. But when I used to work for somebody, I had to be at work. So I had to make sure I had childcare and make sure that the kids had a place to go and a summer plan for them, right? So there's all of these challenges. And then right when I feel, this is my opinion, but right when you get into the swing of summer, school starts again, especially now that summer break is all of 2 months if we're lucky. I mean, it used to be, in my day, 3 months, and it started about Memorial Day and ended at about Labor Day, and then we went back to school in September. But now it's just such a short break. So what can we do is the question. What can we do to make our summer the best possible? And this year I find myself in an even different situation, and maybe you can relate to this. Last year I was still just coming off of my concussion the year before, finally feeling somewhat better, and I was taking it really easy. So last year was probably my easiest summer as far as I just went with it. I was at the pool every day with the kids, and I was reading a lot. I, got a bunch of novels that I wanted to read, and I just, we went on vacation, and I just relaxed and tried to kind of just go with the flow. And I got really good at it. I was sleeping in. And then when school started, it was a real big shock because it was like, oh no, I have to get up at 5:30 or 6 every morning and be going again. And I'm not on that schedule right now. But now I'm in a different place because I am working on my book, Mastery of Motherhood, which if you haven't taken the survey yet, go to drchristinahibbert.com and click on the link for the Mastery of Motherhood survey, or go directly to masteryofmotherhood.com and take the mom survey, because I want to hear from you. And I'm working on this project, and it's really important to me, and I'm only maybe maybe not even a third of the way done with writing the book. So I need to be writing this summer. I need to be working on stuff. I'm working on some courses, which I'm excited to share with you really soon. You can find out more by subscribing to my newsletter at drchristinahibbert.com. Some courses on building self-worth, and some courses on postpartum depression, and some courses on overcoming some of the challenges in our life, and some courses on mastery of motherhood. So I can't just sort of, give in this year like I could last year. And so I need a more structured summer. And my kids are not going to like that because they're all teenagers or young adults, or a 10-year-old who thinks she's a teenager or wishes she were. So what do we do? How do we do that? So first of all, I want you to think about where you are in your life. Okay? So where are you at this point of your life? Yes, it's summer break. Yes, it's time when things are going to change in the home and with your kids and your family, and you have a great opportunity here to do some fun things and to make some memories. You also don't have to just throw in the towel. And you don't either way. You don't have to throw in the towel and say, well, I have to work, so I guess I can't have any fun this summer. You also don't have to say, well, I'm home with the kids all summer and I can't get anything done anyway, so I'm just not even going to try. Okay? So first and foremost, I want you to evaluate where you are. And what do you need this summer? Because if there's one thing I've learned that I think is really important for us as moms to really understand and to remember, it's that we do have needs, and they're needs because we need them, and it means we do need to take care of those things. And when we don't, we are not going to be as positive, as happy, as energetic, as sane as our kids deserve, right? And not only our kids, but us too. And we don't have to put ourselves on hold because we're raising a family. In fact, as we take care of ourselves, and even I would say put ourselves first in the sense of self-care, making sure that we are taken care of, always putting that in our mind on our list at the top, then we are so much more ready to give. And there's no time where we need that like during summer, when it can feel like everything's just sort of out of control and chaotic, right? So where are you right now and what do you need? That's number one. Number two, let's think about our expectations. So as I was mentioning, different times of our lives, we might have different expectations. Last summer, my expectations of summer were pretty spot on. Just, okay, I know it's going to be kind of scheduleless, and I'm fine with that because, I can't really do much anyway because my brain's still recovering and I need to just kind of take it easy. So I'm going to go with it and have some fun and sleep in and really take care of myself and let myself rest and relax while my kids are doing that. But, that's one summer out of, my oldest is 21. So out of 21 years, one summer where I really felt like I was just going with the kids on it. Most of the time we do have things we have to accomplish, do have things that we have to do, and it's hard. So what are your expectations? So, this summer, my expectation is I need to be writing 20 hours a week. So I set a writing goal per week. That's what I do. And then I try to break it up into the weekdays so that I can have my weekends free. But if I don't, I have to write on the weekend. And so how am I going to do that? What are my expectations? Is that realistic? And I've been really asking myself that. Maybe when, some weeks, especially when we actually go out of town, because we're going to go out of town for a couple of weeks, I probably need to lower that. Maybe say 10 hours a week for those weeks. Or maybe say during the week that I'm gone, I'm not going to do this. So what are your expectations? And then number two with that, are they realistic? What's the reality? So I don't know about you, but I always say that when you're the mom, everything you want to do takes 4 times longer than you think it should. And if you didn't have kids, it probably would just, happen and you'd be able to get it done. But everything takes 4 times as long because, they have needs too, and they come in and we get interrupted in what we're doing and we go and take care of them, which is wonderful, which is what we should do. But at the same time, it's hard. It's hard to actually focus and get things done when the kids are all around and needing you all the time, right? At least that's how I feel. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So think about it for yourself. What do you feel? What do you expect? And then what's realistic? What's the reality? Maybe you have some expectations of what you can or can't do this summer that just aren't realistic. And it does go with what you can't do. Maybe saying, because I'm working all the time, there's no way we can have any fun. That's not realistic either. Sure, you can have some fun. Sure, you can put some good things in there, right? You can take some time, make some time for fun with your kids, right? Just the same as if you're home with your kids all summer and you feel like, it's going to be so crazy. That might be kind of realistic, but does it have to be? If you can set up some summer rules and plans, right? Okay, so once you've evaluated where you are and then what your expectations are for meeting those needs and those things that you need right now versus the reality, you can start to change some of those expectations, which is huge when it comes to planning for summer or for anything, really. Our expectations are always the root of our frustrations. All frustration comes from expectations, and especially unrealized and unmet expectations. So when we expect something and it doesn't happen, that's when we get frustrated. That's when we feel overwhelmed. That's when we start to have depression and anxiety and all these things, right? But if we can understand what we expect and sort of go with it, sort of check it and reality check it and make sure that it's realistic, and then work to meet those expectations ourselves and not just expect things of other people that aren't realistic, like of our kids, that they're not going to make any messes. If we can just change our mindset in the morning and go, you know what? I know they're going to mess up the house today, and that's okay. Because I also know that at 4 o'clock or 4:30 or whatever, or at 7 o'clock, we are going to have a half-hour cleaning time where we're going to go from room to room and set a timer for 2 minutes in each room. We're going to pick everything up together and make it a fun game. So it's okay if it's messy during the day because I know we're going to clean it later tonight. Or I know that they have their chores to do, so they're going to do their chores. So even if they mess up, they're the ones that are going to clean it up. So I have to be okay with that, right? So check your expectations, right? Okay, once we've done that, once we know where we are and what we expect and what we're hoping for, then we set up some summer rules. Now, no kid likes to hear the word rules, and many of us parents don't like to hear the word rules either, because they're not only hard for kids, they're hard for us, right? In fact, you know this because you guys are all parents, but the rules are harder for the parents than for the kids because we're the ones that have to then enforce them. And if we set the rules, we have to go with the rules and we have to be consistent. So there's a very good tip right there. If you're going to set a rule for anything, including summer, make sure it's something you can follow through on. Okay? Because if you don't follow through, there's no point in having the rule. The kids just learn mom's not going to follow through anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So what do you need to set up in order for your family to flourish this summer? Couple of ideas. For one is the kitchen. And I do have summer kitchen hours. And this is kind of a rule that I post on the fridge. And so from, let's say, 7 a.m. to 9:30 or so, and it's kind of gotten later as my kids have gotten older because they sleep in so late, they can come in and make themselves breakfast, or if I'm up in there, I'll make them some food. But then the kitchen's closed from, let's say, 9:30 or 10 to 12. And then from 12 to 2, it's open again, and then it's closed until 5 to 7, and then it's closed. And the reason why I did this is because I just got so tired of, especially as I started getting teenagers, how, the younger kids would be up early, and then you'd get the middle schoolers who are kind of up, sort of early to mid, not early. And then you got the teenagers who were trying to sleep all day. And they're coming at all hours of the day and making food and getting stuff out in the kitchen, and there's no time to tidy it up, and there's no time where there isn't somebody in there doing something. And especially when they were younger, they would come and, Mom, can you make me some lunch? Mom, can you make me some breakfast? Mom, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to make breakfast at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. If you're up, you get it. If you're not, you don't. And if you're awake before 10 o'clock, you get to go and eat breakfast. If not, you're going to have to wait till noon. Hopefully you have a snack in your room hidden away, because I'm not having the kitchen open, okay? So this is just one idea that you can do kind of having certain areas of the house open during certain times so that you can, clean up some of the mess if you want, or have the kids clean up. It also has been helpful because all of our kids have a kitchen night, and they like the fact that on their nights, everybody isn't trashing the kitchen, and so they can go in there and kind of tidy up too, or make sure everybody puts their stuff away so that their kitchen night isn't too bad. So there are things like this, right? Another idea. Another thing that used to get me, and now it's better because I have drivers, yay, is driving kids. I mean, when they were younger, everything. I have basketball practice. I want to go to the gym. I want to go to the pool. My friend invited me over. And all day long, it would just be constant. Hey, can you take me here? Hey, can you take me here? And with 6 kids, I mean, that's a lot. And so I started setting up rules for carpool, chauffeur rules. Like, if you want mom to be your chauffeur, I am willing to drive kids at 10 a.m. and at 2 p.m. So if you want to go somewhere in the morning, then I'll take you at 10 a.m. If you want to go somewhere later, I'll go at 2 p.m. That's when I'm willing to drive or ready to drive. So we'd work around my schedule. And so again, it's kind of like these rules help you get some of the control over the things you can control, which is yourself, your schedule, your time. It may feel like, especially as a mom with a bunch of kids, may feel like you can't control any of that because the kids are controlling it. But when you start to feel that way, I've learned from experience many, many times that when we start to feel like the kids are in control of our schedules, our time, our energy, that there's something wrong. That's not the way it should be. Yes, we want to give to our kids, but they shouldn't be the ones dictating what we need to do. And let me share a little personal story on this. So, just a few months back in January, so it's June right now, just, almost 6 months ago, I was feeling like that. I was really in a place of super overwhelmed, burned out from Christmas and the holidays and all kinds of, a bunch of stuff going on with my kids and trying to get certain kids to college and back to college and figuring out what's going on. And anyway, I was burned out, let's just say. And I was really feeling like I am last in this family. I'm the mom, and because I'm the mom, all that I do revolves around all that everybody else does, right? I mean, have you ever felt this way as a mom? That my schedule has to depend on everybody else's schedule and needs. And that I have to know what everybody else is doing, and then if there's some time, I can just go squeeze myself in. And that's kind of how last summer was for me. It was like, all right, I'll just kind of be here and do whatever anybody wants. And then I'll just relax in the other times and maybe get some work done and see some clients on one morning, just a little bit. But that wasn't necessarily good for me. It might have been easy, but it wasn't really how I want to live. And so I've learned, and I hope that all you out there, all of you fabulous listeners and friends out there can hear this and think about it. Do you feel that way? Do you ever feel that way, that you're kind of last, or that your time or energy, everything revolves around the kids? They're sucking you dry sometimes. And we don't say that to be mean, because we love our kids and we want to give to them. But it's true that they can really suck us dry. Our energy, our time, our identity, who we are. Have we even had time to sit and think about, like, who am I as a mom right now? Who am I as a person? Who am I in the world? Who am I in my mission in life? These are things that we can change if we need to. And I'm guessing there are many of you out there listening right now that are thinking, I need to change this. Because I know that on and off throughout my life, there have been so many times where I've had to change this. And January, just a few months ago, was one of those times where I started to realize, my kids are they're not babies anymore. So yeah, it's one thing when you have a baby that's crying and that needs you all the time. My kids are old enough to do things for themselves, to drive each other, to help each other, to help me. And so over these past few months, I've really made a concerted effort to take charge of my time, of my schedule, of my energy, and not let it get sucked away by little things I don't need to do, so that I am there in full presence and full enthusiasm and full joy for the beautiful moments with my children, and to care for them when they really do need me. And it helps them be more independent and, responsible too. So I hope if you are in this position, you can think about this, and that these rules that you're setting up are helping you protect your energy, your time, your sanity, your mental health, emotional, physical, spiritual, social. These are important. And yes, this is part of that self-care we always talk about. But as you protect that by setting up rules to make it work for you, you are actually taking better care of your children. Because you are stronger and healthier, they're going to get more from you, better things from you, right? More love, more attention, more time, more energy, more care. And that's why I love writing this book, Mastery of Motherhood, because that's what it's all about. As we master ourselves, we have so much more to give. And I can attest to that 100% over and over, and especially these past few months. I have really taken charge of my health and my energy, and noticing that I don't have to just be sucked dry all the time. I can generate energy, and here are the things I need to do in order to be on top of my game. Here are the things I need in order to feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. Here are the things I need in order to feel like I'm being the mom I want to be. And as I do those things, then everybody benefits. And I've even seen my kids start to take charge of themselves and say, hey, Mom, I want to exercise every day. Hey, Mom, I want to actually, I want to eat better. What can I do to eat better? Hey, Mom, I want to work on my talent. What can I do for that? So set up rules that help you to have boundaries with your kids during summer so that you are at your best and they can still have some fun and freedom within the rules. It's just what's going to help you. Okay? Got it? So set up some rules and write them down and agree with them. I say do a family night. We do a family night every Monday. When we first did this, we sat down with a whiteboard and said, okay, what are some summer rules? And I put out mine, and then they put out some of theirs. And I was surprised. Some of the kids, were saying, well, I think everybody should have to clean up after themselves in the morning before they can go do anything. Okay, yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Not everybody loved that, but that was thrown out by one of the kids. So get them involved and then decide together. Does everybody agree? Yes, everybody agrees. Okay, I'm going to write these down, put them on the fridge. You agreed. So, maybe there are some consequences tied to those rules, that if you don't follow these rules, you're not going to have playtime today, or you're not going to have TV time, or we're going to change the Wi-Fi code so you cannot go on and play your video games or whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so set up rules. That's really, really important. Number 4 we are on is to not over or under schedule. As you're setting up rules and your schedule, I think it's really important with summer and with school too. So many of our kids are so over scheduled, they are just exhausted. So I think if your child really wants to do something, an activity, a camp, something like that, then great. I say help them do that if you can. But if it's more, trying to just kind of keep them busy, there are other ways to do that, especially just not overscheduling, right? Maybe letting them have some playtime with a friend, or setting up a situation with somebody where, hey, I'll let your child come to my house for this day and you have mine for this day, so that we get a little bit of time to get some work done. Of course, summer camps are great and kids really can love them, but sometimes we're so scheduled that it takes the fun out of everything, and it takes the summer and the relaxation out of it, not only for them, but for us, because then we're having to take them and make them go and get them ready and all these kinds of things. So think about that, really think about that. Like, how much of a schedule do you want to have? Like this summer, I need to be more scheduled than I was last summer, but I don't want to be overscheduled. So even though I'm trying to keep a writing schedule, my schedule is to work in the mornings and then have the afternoons pretty much free for the most part, so that I can have my schedule but not be overscheduled and not have the kids overscheduled with having to take care of each other, so that I can be around to go to the pool and do fun things with them, right? So just consider that. Don't over or under schedule. If you have absolutely nothing on the schedule, nothing to do, if you don't have anything for yourself on the schedule, then, it can easily start to feel like that kind of chaotic thing because there's no structure. So we don't need complete and total structure. And of course, that's one great thing about summer is that we don't have all those parameters that we have during the school year. So, just consider that. Don't over or under schedule. Next, do activities that you enjoy. So I've said a bunch of times about going to the pool. Well, we live in Flagstaff, and right now we're here in Phoenix where my parents have a pool here. So the kids love to come down here and stay. It's super hot. It's like 100 and something already, and it's only like 9:30 in the morning right now. So I don't love to be down here in the summer, but my kids do because they love to be in the pool. And so I can have them come down here and visit while I take care of business, or we go to the pool up in Flagstaff, a community pool, because I like it. Whoops. Because I like to sit by the pool and read. And I like to get in the pool and get a little sun. So that's something I enjoy doing. Like I said, I love reading. So I've gotten my kids to get into some books and start reading, listen to some audiobooks, sit out on the hammock and read together sometimes. Or when we're on a trip, to be able to turn off devices and read a book is great. I love to travel. And we're lucky to have a place to go and stay for free in California, so we can go over there for a couple weeks. So we're going to do that. So what do you enjoy doing? I do not love playing toys with my kids. When they were little, I just am not that kind of mom. I would do it. I would get down and play Barbies, but it was like, all right, I'm setting a timer for 15 minutes. And usually that's enough. So you can do that too. But think about what your kids like to do. That's great. And get some of that in there. And sometimes it really is just give them 10 to 15 minutes of your time in what they want to do. And they'll be happy to do what you want to do. And then find things that they would like to do, but you want to do too. And that you like to do with them. So that it is more fun for you, right? And more of an activity that both of you enjoy together. And that's where we really build memories, right? Then we can set up some summer help. Now, that might be, like I said, taking turns with a friend so that you do get some time to yourself or some time to work on things. Finding an older child who wants to earn some money. I mean, I have teenagers who'd be happy to babysit for people during the summer because they want to earn money. So finding someone who wants to come sit and play with your kids while you get some work done or get a break or take a nap or whatever it is that you need. Maybe enlisting grandparents and family who want to see the kids, like I am here. My mom loves to see them here, so I can let them swim and kind of keep an eye, and she can kind of keep an eye, and I can kind of be doing my thing, right? So enlist some summer help, and of course, if you have older kids, let them be helpers. No matter how old they are, give them something they can be responsible for. Being responsible for one another. Like I've explained to my children this summer, that we are, we're going to have a different kind of summer schedule because I'm working on this book, as they know, and I've explained how important this is and how it's going to help a lot of people and why I'm doing it. And it's not that it's more important than them, but that it's part of what I need to be doing for my mission in life, and they understand that. So, kind of, are you guys on board with me? Can you help me out? I need to be gone in the mornings writing, or be down in my office and not be interrupted. So can you help me? And when you do it that way, they're going to be willing to help. Yes, I can help with younger sibling for an hour while you get something taken care of. Or yes, I can help clean up. Or yes, I can help make some food. Or I can help drive with the older kids, right? So let's get some help and get our kids involved in helping too. I also think it's very important to create a daily quiet time for the whole family, for you, but for them too. And when we had little kids, it was easy because that was always nap time. When the baby was going down for a nap, everybody had to be quiet. And so I would say, okay, for these 2 hours while the baby's asleep, it's mom's quiet time too. I'm going to go lie down and rest. And you guys can do things that are quiet, but no playing basketball downstairs, no wrestling, no screaming, no jumping, no whatever. Do something quiet, and giving them something quiet to do. And I really enjoy that because, I enjoyed it because I got some quiet time. But the kids actually started to appreciate it too. They started to see that, guess what? They need quiet time too. they are so overstimulated these days. There's so much input and just constant. They feel like they have to be constantly connected and just, they're so distracted by the world. So we need to make sure that they understand that they can, decompress and be quiet and be still and maybe just go sit and look at the stars at night or go and, just pet the dog and relax a little bit and not actually have to be staring at a screen. So we can set that example and we can set that up as part of our rules, and it's very helpful for everybody. It's going to help everybody have that mental and emotional, spiritual, and even physical strength and energy improved and boosted, because that's that kind of like letting our brain shut down, close our eyes for a minute, and it really does just sort of like reset and give us that kind of like little break that we need and that they need too, right? So have some quiet time, and above all, be flexible. This is our 8th one, and really the most important, be flexible. If there's any time you have to be flexible, it's during the summer, because, there isn't that schedule usually. But we can make it better. We can make it more structured the way we need, but not too structured, because guaranteed things are going to come and go. Things are going to change. Schedules are going to change. Kids are going to be, sick or happy one day and emotional the next day. Problems are going to happen, just like life. So that's probably my number 2 rule with parenting. Number 1 is, be consistent. And number 2 is be flexible, which seem like they're opposites, but we have to be consistent in what we say. Like I said, if you're going to set these rules up and set some structure up for summer or any time, follow through, do what you say you're going to do. And then we also have to be flexible, because guess what? Even if you're following through, the kids aren't going to always follow through the way that you want, and things aren't going to always end up the way you want. So we have to be willing to change and alter our expectations, our ideas, our plans and schedule as needed to fit the situation, so that we're not, let's say, getting super upset at our child because they're not on time and we have to hurry because we set up a play date and we got to go and then you just have to think, is this really important, right? It's like the other morning I was trying to get my daughter off to girls camp, and I thought she was totally ready. I got her up on time. I even made her breakfast. I had her all packed. I put all her stuff in the car, and she's just do. And I'm saying, let's hurry up. You're going to be late. She's like, Mom, it doesn't matter. Like, it's okay. We're not that late. They're not going to leave without me because we're not that late yet. And I was like, yeah, I know, but, and in my mind, it was like I could hear myself, but they're going to think that I'm a loser mom because we're late and we're the last ones, or whatever it might be, but it was really about me and not about her. And I just had to say, like, is this that important to be upset with her as she's trying to leave? No, it wasn't. So I said, I'm sorry. You're right. Let's just go. I want you to go and be happy, and we're fine. You're fine. Okay? So be flexible. Now, one last thing I want to talk about is summer goals, which is a fabulous idea that we've been doing for many, many years, thanks to a good friend of mine who introduced me to it. And this is a way for kids to do a lot of the things we just talked about. Be helpful, also earn some money, pay for their own school clothes or school supplies or whatever they want, and to be productive, doing things that are good for them to develop themselves. And that's what I love most about this, is that it's helping them focus on good things and not just be doing nothing during the summer. And this is something you can do too. You can work on this with your kids. So sit them down, and what we usually do is have a few different categories. Like, you can make up your own, but ours are, physical, emotional, spiritual, talents, contribution. Okay, those are our 5. So in those 5 different areas, they need to set a few goals, and it's up to them how many they set. And depending how hard the goal is by the end of the summer to reach, there's a certain dollar amount that they can earn for working on that goal. Now, I love this because they have to kind of come up with their own ideas. And this is, of course, for the older kids, and there's a way to tweak it for the little kids too. I'll explain that in a minute. They have to come up with their own ideas of their goals, and then they have to start to figure out, like, how can I measure that? So, like a physical goal, I want to be better at basketball. Okay, so if they come to me and say that, I say, okay, so how do you measure that? Like, how do you know if you're better at basketball? Well, I want to be able to make my free throws better. Okay, then let's say you have to practice shooting free throws X amount of time, or you have to do so many a day, so many days a week. Let's make it realistic. And if you do that every week, then you get this amount of money at the end of the summer. Okay, so making it measurable. And it's also teaching them how to set goals. It's also teaching them how to measure their progress and to check in and be accountable with you. This is great skill building for personal development. And it's great for you as a parent to have to do it because you are being the leader and showing them how. Okay, so they set goals in these different areas. For contribution, I know my daughter is very conscious about the environment. So she went and she had a goal to pick up 100 pieces of trash, or 500 pieces of trash, I think it was, last summer. So she went and did that. She went and did it. She accomplished that goal in just like a week because she just went out and found all this trash and went all around the neighborhoods and really cleaned stuff up. So, some of them can be accomplished pretty quickly. Some of them are going to take longer, like having a weekly goal to exercise, or something to work on, like I'm going to practice my piano every week, or the contribution one, I always make them do one for the family and one for the community. So, I'm going to be nicer to my sister. Well, how do we measure that? Well, I'm going to keep a little notebook. One of my sons did this one year. I'm going to keep a notebook each day. At the end of the day, I'm going to mark how well I think I did. And then I'm going to show it to you and talk to you about it. Okay, good. So he would mark, like today I did, I was actually I tried to compliment her 3 times. He had little check boxes, and oh, whoops, I didn't compliment her. I actually said something rude, but then I went back and apologized, so that counted. So it's just making them more conscious and developing their personality traits, emotional traits, working on emotionally just dealing with, problems that they have. Like, okay, I get angry too much. So how can we help you not feel so angry? What can we do with that? And teaching them some coping skills. Okay, when I start to feel angry, I'm going to go and play the drums. And this was, one of my son's goals. And I'm going to come talk to you about it so that I can get it out instead of just letting it go. Okay, so these are the ideas. Spiritually, I'm going to read my scriptures every day. And when I mark it, I'm going to mark it. And I can miss so many days because we want it to be realistic. Because what if you don't reach your goal? So sometimes they'll say, I'm going to do this every single day. Okay, well, that's good. But let's say you can miss, 1 day a week, if you need to, and still reach your goal and make it realistic for them, okay? And then you set a goal for money, for how much they can earn. And then at the end of the summer, we go through and see which ones they actually accomplished, and they earn that amount of money for all the work they did. And it's all self-improvement, really, and contribution and just becoming a better person and developing themselves. But it's also stuff that they would never do on their own. And it's a way for them to earn some money. And then we use that money for them to then go out and buy their school clothes or this backpack or whatever they want. And I love that because, one summer I had one son who set really high goals and earned a lot of money. And then one who set goals but didn't really work on them and only earned a little bit. I think he earned like $75. And I was like, well, this is what you've got for school. And he wanted Vans. He wanted, brand name shoes. And I showed him how much they were. They were like $40 or $50. And then I said, let's go to Marshall's, go to the cheaper store and go see what they've got. And they had a knockoff that looked just like the ones he wanted for $7. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And he got a bunch of shirts and things at the cheaper store versus getting the brand name thing. And he learned about bargain shopping. So there you go. That's a bonus too. Now for little kids, just for those who have toddlers and younger ones, you can do the same thing. You can give them a goal, but you just give them 1 or 2 goals, or maybe 1 per day. Like today you're going to be nice to your brother. And every time you do something nice to him or you take care of him, we're going to put a bead in the jar. So you get a jar with some little glass beads or whatever you want to use, and put a bead in the jar. When my little girls were tiny, when they were small, they loved this. They loved getting beads. And I loved it because I was just looking for the good that they were trying to do all day. And they were looking for it. And they'd come say, Mom, guess what? I just helped her do this. Or Mom, I just cleaned up my mess. I just did this. And they'd be all proud. And they'd get their little beads. And then at the end, when they'd fill up the jar, they got to go with me on a special little date, either to go get a treat or to go get some dinner or to go to the store and pick out a little toy. Or I've done it in the past where I had a little box of little toys and treats that they might like, and they get to pick one every time they'd fill up the jar. So that's another great way to do it for little kids. So hopefully this is a good start to your summer. I think I needed this more than anything because I needed to remind myself of what I need to do. We can take charge, and even though there's a lot in life I've learned, and I know a lot of you know this, that we cannot control. And there have been times in my life where I felt like I just give up control, especially as a mom, because it's like, forget it, why even try? It's just too chaotic, I'm just at the whim of everybody. And again, I think that's me or us being a martyr. We don't want to be the mom martyr. We want to be the master mom, right? And the master mom is the one who takes charge and says, I'm going to control the things I can control. I'm going to control my attitude. I'm going to control my outlook. I'm going to control my temper. I'm going to control my personal development and working on myself and improving myself in different areas. I'm going to control my self-care, because if I don't take care of me, no one's going to do it. And I'm not going to be good enough. Well, I'm not going to be good enough. I'm not going to be what I want to be for my family and for myself if I don't take care of myself, right? And we can master our time. We can try to master it and try to control it as much as possible, control our schedules, and control how we respond to when everything goes thrown out the window, because it's going to happen. And we can be flexible, and we can respond with patience and love, and a deep breath, and be the calm in the middle of the storm, right? I heard that in a song the other day, just the end of it, that I was dancing in the middle of the storm, or dancing in the middle of the tornado or something. That can be us, we can stop and breathe and kind of close our eyes for a minute and remind ourselves that we're just trying to grow through motherhood here, right? That's what we're trying to do. And summer is a good chance for that too, because it's a good opportunity to make memories. It's a good opportunity to push ourselves and to help our children to grow in new and different ways, and not just in the ways that the school or their education demands, right? All right, everybody, you've heard enough from me today. I'm so grateful to be able to talk with you here each week, though, and hope that you will go and visit my website, Dr. Christina Hibbert, to find the blog posts on summer sanity and the things you should not be doing during summer as well to keep your sanity, and the video of this will also be there. So you can go check those out. Again, find us on YouTube for the videos of these motherhood TV shows, and on iTunes, and my website for the radio podcast. And until next time, continue to grow through motherhood and grow through the summer, and keep me posted on how it's going. If you have some questions, just contact me on social media. I'm always on there, and love to hear from you there. So everybody have a great summer. I hope it's a sane one and a happy one and a flourishing one. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.